Well, hello. Today I want to show you how I mount um, my little carvings onto a block of wood. That's not very hard. It's easy, and they stay there. I got a way to do it, and they stay there. I've looked at different things on the internet, and not many people are showing me how to do it. They're telling me that I can, but they're not telling me how. So um, I'm going to try to do this video to help somebody that's struggling with putting this on. There's many ways, okay? So, but I'm going to show you the one way I like. I've worked it out, and I like this way. I like this way lately. All right, here we go. Okay, let's start though with there's different ways that we could mount our carvings. This one here, well, I left the base on. I left part of the bottom of the piece of wood on and just carved around. That's one way, and that's a good way. A lot of people do that, and I do that on several of my carvings. That works. Then there's this one back here. He's kind of a real tall, skinny guy, and he'd have a hard time just standing all by himself. So I just take a piece of, just a thin piece of a log. I cut them all down, let them all dry. I've got several of them ready to go. And then I'll grab one and just glue it on. I'll just glue it on the bottom. You have to do this gluing before you paint it on this one, and that works very well. He stands up real nice, and there's these little guys that have feet that are big enough. They can just stand about anywhere, and you can just hand them out. You don't need a base for them unless you want to make a scene. So you have two guys, and they're talking to each other, we'll say. So you have a scene. So you make a scene. So you might want to put them on a block of wood. These are the reasons why we do bases. They look pretty good. But mounting them sometimes is a problem. Glue, sometimes you wonder, is that going to really last? Ooh, boy, you glue and somehow put a screw in it? I don't know about that. So what I did was I came up with a way to put a dowel in. But the dowel is some old 12 gauge wire. And that I first tried to do it with a toothpick. But the toothpick broke, and it wasn't very strong. And I didn't like that idea, so I put dowels. I cut them out of a piece of old 12 gauge wire. Let me show you how I did that. And this is a good way. Sometimes, and remember that the 12 gauge wire is a little bit bent, so it goes in the hole just a little bit bent, and it kind of tightens up around the edges, and that's a good thing. Now first I'll take my drill, match it up to the wire size, and I'll drill 2 holes into the feet of the carving. Then I'll take my wire, I'll put it in one of the holes. I want to show you how I go about finding the second hole. All right, and then I've already got it drilled, but see, it goes in very good. Well, then I could take a piece of toothpick, and it has a sharp point on it. So I take this toothpick, put it in there, about the same depth, and I'll put it in the one I have, and then I'll put this toothpick, and I'll put it right where I want it, turn it whatever way you want, and then you mark that. You take a pencil and just mark right where that toothpick hit. You take an owl I don't have one with me right now, but poke a hole in it, drill it out. And this one you don't have to go too deep. You only want to go about a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch at the most. And I'll take it out, drill that hole, get rid of that. Take this one out of this hole, and I'll put it in the base. Now both of these pieces of wire, now you put in the base, and you tap them. I tap them with a little hammer. Don't tap them too hard because you don't want to peen them over and then on the top and make it tight. And if you do have a little burr, go ahead and sand it off. And you don't want any trouble. You want to go have this guy to come off when you want him, put him on when you want him. So you have, that's how that looks. And the base. Then you put your little guy, put your little carving, line the holes up and put them on. If it's just a little off, it's all right. Shove it down, shove it down. Now that's on. Very good. And now it's I'm not going to use this base for this guy, but this guy doesn't need a base. But I wanted to do it for an example because some of you don't know how to do that. But it wasn't very hard at all. All I had to do, let's go over it, was come up with the wire. All I had to do is come up with the wire, the size of the wire, cut the wire, sand any burr off of them. That's all I have to do is sand the burr off the wire. Line them up, line the holes up, and I showed you how I line them up with a toothpick. I'll put a toothpick into one side, and so I showed you how to use the toothpick because it's a sharp point on the end, and how to line it up, and then it's right in here. Then you just put it on. And I like this way because look at what you can do on this way. A lot of you have trouble painting. Well, I'm gonna paint this guy, but look what I can do. I could take him off of there because I don't want to get paint on the base if I do a base. But look at, I got a whole piece of wire here. I could stick this in here, and now I got something to hold it with to paint. And I could bend it up or do something with it. Maybe I could stick it in another, make me a gizmo to put these in, and let it stand there, and it'll turn around and do whatever it wants to do on there. So you not only have a base, but you have a way to paint your carvings, and I think that's a plus. So happy carving, and I hope this helps some of you solve a problem. Some of you professional ones, you know what you're doing anyway, but us rookies, some of us are rookies yet, and we need some help. And I hope this helps someone. That's all I want to do, is try to help someone and make somebody happy. And God bless you, and happy carving.